Hello and welcome to France 24's weekly music show. I'm Jennifer Ben Brahim. Coming up on today's show. A creative process inspired by travel. This is the guiding principle of French electronic producer and composer Thylacine. He's previously recorded music aboard the Trans-Siberian Railway in the middle of the Andes and now in the African desert, and he joins us in the studio to tell us more about these travels.
Hello.
Thylacine, welcome to France 24. I know you've been here before, but it's been, I think, about 6 years since we last had you on.
It's been a while, yeah.
Now, before we delve into this new project of yours, we have to talk about quite a controversial album. It's really been blowing up all over social media. I'm going to ask you about it in just a bit. And it's been touted as the ultimate revenge record. A West End Girl is British pop star Lily Allen's first album in 7 years. Written and recorded in just 10 days, is an intimate diary of the breakdown of her marriage to Stranger Things actor David Harbour. The lyrics talk about all things from alleged infidelity, sex addiction, and repeatedly referring to a certain Madeline. So internet sleuths are trying to find out who this is. The album has, as you can imagine, become a real viral sensation and a critical hit amongst music journalists. Let's take a listen to one of the more PG tracks off the album. This is West End Girl.
Later that evening, you said, how was my day? I said, I got some good news. I got the lead in the play. That's when your demeanor started to change. You said, I'd have to audition. I said, you're deranged. And I thought that was quite strange. And I thought that was quite strange.
So that was Lily Allen's new album. Check out the track listing. There are some quite controversial titles, but I cannot repeat those on air. Now, Thylacine, West End Girl, as I just mentioned, is this deeply personal, raw project, a revenge album, as I mentioned. And in your opinion, should an artist really kind of air their dirty laundry, so to speak, and be so personal their work? Or is there a kind of line that you shouldn't cross?
For me, there's no line. As long as you're creative about it, it's fine. I think it's a big deal for life right now, so it would be weird to not write about it as well. So I think it could be interesting.
Yeah, if it's inspiring her work.
Exactly,
then
yeah.
Why not?
It's a process, and I love the cover. It's
The
really
cover
cool.
is really beautiful. Such a great idea, having a painting. Now, you're back with a third installment of a project, a series, a road series.
Yeah.
Now, you were in Argentina, the Faroe Islands for the first two, and now you went to Namibia in southern Africa. Why this choice of location for this final installment of this triptych?
Well, I wanted to have three very different places, three different continents, and Namibia was a choice because it has a history of very big roads. And so, yeah, I've never been there. I always try to choose places that I really don't know about. So, yeah, that was the goal.
And you spent 3 months in a 1972 airstream caravan. I mean, what a cool place to be kind of staying in the desert. And it became your kind of de facto studio. What was it like recording in that environment? Did you feel more of a sense of freedom than, say, recording in a traditional studio setting?
Yeah, that's why I used that process, is because I felt like I was more creative, more productive when I was moving, when I was in different places than staying in a music studio in Paris. So I've built this music studio inside the caravan that has wheels that I can bring everywhere I want. And yeah, being able to write music, to compose in the middle of the desert or on some very little villages, it's amazing for me.
Any complications of recording in the desert in a caravan?
It gets hot for sure, and at some point I couldn't work during daytime, and I had to shift, like working at nighttime and trying to sleep on the day. But it's also interesting in a way. So yeah, you get exposed to elements, you get exposed to meeting new people, and so those people can also enter your tracks, and it's really interesting.
One of the tracks off the album is called Shark Island. It's a really beautiful video. Take a look.
Wind, scars, lost, soul, both, clean, thousand lives, drowned, skin, with myself, stop at sea. With will crash on the floor.
So that was Shark Island. What an amazing atmospheric video. Tell us more about this location of Shark Island. I believe it has quite a complicated history.
Yeah, well, Namibia had suffered a genocide in the beginning of the 20th century by German colonists, especially two ethnic groups, the Ero and Nama people. And so Shark Island was a concentration camp, basically. And so we worked with a choir of Nama people to tell some forgotten stories about that island.
Wow, and like quite a very dark history.
Yeah, very dark, and but also interesting because now the island is getting forgotten. There's a campsite with tourists doing barbecues on it, so there's people involved to making this history heard and not be forgotten, and so that was my way to, with music, to work about it.
Yeah, hopefully your video and the album will raise awareness about this kind of history of it. Now we're going to stick with the African continent, and one of Africa's most successful musical exports, Amadou and Mariam, the musical duo from Mali, performed together for more than 4 decades until the passing of Amadou last April. This is their 9th and final album together called L'amour à la folie, or Crazy Love, and it is just dropped, and it's a real posthumous love letter from Mariam to her late husband with the help of her son, or their son, Sam Baga. Now, France 24's Marion Chaval spoke to Mariam about performing on stage without her husband. Take a listen.
It's really difficult for me because when I go on stage, I see where Amadou used to be next to me with his guitar. Well, having my son here makes me feel better. It encourages me, but I miss Amadou a lot. I miss my husband a lot.
So that was L'amour à la folie by Amadou and Mariam, and that's a real musical fusion. Now, speaking of fusion, Thylacine, your sound is a real blend of electro and ambient soundscapes, as we heard earlier. But I believe that you actually started off in the kind of more classical world. Yeah. How did you transition to this sound?
Well, I wanted to compose by myself, and I'm not a singer, I can't play guitar or piano. So yeah, electronic music was just a way for me to have all the instruments at my disposal, to play trumpet, to play strings and everything. And yeah, it's for me, it's the most democratic way of composing music.
You're the best of both worlds. You can mix all these sounds together.
Yeah, with just some, software cracked on the internet and some YouTube tutorials, you can manage to build your own track.
Now, I want to talk to you about some music you composed for a series. Now, when I told friends that you were coming on the show, the first thing they said was, ask him about OVNI. It's become such a smash hit, this series. It's OVNI, or UFO in English, and it's a kind of quirky sci-fi comedy set in the 70s. How was it working on a TV soundtrack or a film soundtrack? Do you have a different process to working on your own album?
Well, I kind of took it as an album, as I've put myself in a challenge to work only with synthesizers that exist during that period of time. So I was just working with all synthesizers, trying to see how they work and everything. And so the whole soundtrack series is built with that. So it was just fun for me to try to make music with all of that, as if I existed during that time and I was just making music.
Any other projects linked to film or TV coming up, or can you not say anything yet?
Yeah, I'm also working on a movie, but yeah, I can't say anything right now. But yeah, I love to do those kind of stuff. But I try to find, a path for it to be very interesting also for me. Just not to repeat myself, but to be a new experience each time.
And you're about to head off on tour with this new project. Where can we see you in the next few months?
Next week I'm going in Istanbul, then Amsterdam, Copenhagen, Hamburg, Munich, Stockholm, Oslo, Berlin, Dublin, London. So yeah. So
just a few shows, nothing too crazy. Yeah. And I know you're playing in Paris in March, so that's going to be a quite momentous show. And now we're coming to the end of the show. Unfortunately, it's gone really quickly, and I want to thank Thylacine for coming in to talk about the new project. Before we go, just enough time to tell you about some new music from Florence and the Machine. Everybody Scream is their 6th album, and as the name suggests, it's a very Halloween-appropriate record. It's very has spooky magic and folk horror feel to it. It's also a record all about healing, and that's after singer Florence Welsh underwent life-saving surgery at the end of her last tour. Now we'll leave you with the titular track, Everybody Scream. For more arts and culture, you can head to our website. There's more news coming up on France 24 right after this.
She gives me everything.